Hello friends, today's topic is about identifying the relatives from the Rashi chart. Okay, so in the Rashi chart, as we all know, the Lagna Lord is your own self, and your brothers and sisters you can see from the 3rd and the 11th houses. Okay, 3rd house for the younger ones, 11th house for the elder ones. Okay, and your children will be seen from the 5th house, your mother from the 4th house. Then 2nd house is in general for your family. Okay, your the closest family that you see is the 2nd house. 6th house is your maternal uncles. Okay, because from the 4th house, the 3rd house is the house of relatives. Okay, so mother's relatives will be the 6th house. 7th house is your wife or husband. 8th house is family of your husband. Okay, because it is second from 7th house. So 8th house naturally becomes the nearest family of your husband or wife. So basically your in-laws are seen from the 8th house. Then 9th house is your guru, your father. 10th house is again seen for your father. Then the 11th house. 11th house is your friends, and it is also for the relatives of your father, like your father's brothers, sisters. Those are seen from the 11th house. Then the 12th house. 12th house is for seeing your grandmother, because 9th house is your father, and 4th from 9th becomes 12th house. That is your grandmother. That is mother of your father. Okay. Also, you will see that based on this rule, you can apply it on any relatives in the chart, and you can come up with all the relatives that you have. For example, if you want to see your grandfather, then it will be 9th from 9th, so 5th house. Okay, and again, father of your grandfather, great grandfather, so 9th from 5th, that is Lagna, so that becomes your great grandfather. See, in Hindus, there is a saying that a person resembles to a great extent to his great grandfather. Now, with this rule, you can see how we come up with this kind of proverbs. Okay, like 5th house is your children, 9th house is your father, 9th house from your father's house is your grandfather, and 9th house from your grandfather is your great grandfather, which is again you. So basically, see the same energy that comes from your great grandfather to you. Then likewise you can see for your mother also. So your let's say if you want to find out your maternal grandfather, okay, then it will be 9th house from 4th house. Okay, so 9th house from 4th house is 12th house. So 12th house you have to see for your maternal grandfather as well as paternal grandmother. Okay, likewise if you want to see father of your spouse, then you have to see 3rd house, because 7th house is your spouse and 9th house from 7th house is 3rd house. So that is your father-in-law. Okay, then the 10th house is actually your mother-in-law. Okay, because it is 4th house from 7th. So like that, also from 12th house is also the maternal relatives of your spouse. Okay, because it is 6th house from 7th. So this way basically you can map all the relatives that you know, all the friends that you know from to your Kundali. Okay, now it is in astrology there is a chart called Navamsa, which is the 9th division, 9th harmonic of the Rashi chart. This chart is used to find out the fortune of the person. Okay, what do you mean by fortune of a person? Like what karma he is carrying from the past life, that is going to fructify in this life. And this chart is actually the chart of fortune. if you see any planet in the Rashi chart, just see the Navamsa sign, Navamsa occupied by that planet, and that position in Navamsa is actually going to tell where is that energy coming from, who is actually guiding that planet, who is giving the energy to that planet. Okay, now this Navamsa chart becomes extremely important from the perspective that you see there are 27 nakshatras in the zodiac. Okay, and each nakshatra is divided into 4 padas, and these 4 padas are actually the 4 Navamsas. Okay, because in one Rashi there are 30 degrees, and 30 degree if you divide by 9, you come to the something around 3 and 1/4 of a pada. Okay, that much degree is actually one Navamsa, and so that way basically you see the relationship between nakshatras and the Navamsa chart. So each nakshatra pada becomes one Navamsa, and nakshatras are basically the source of vitality. Okay, these are like, you can say, the divine light, the divine cosmic energy that is coming to you. That is the nakshatra. Okay, that is the subtle vitality that you receive. That vitality is mapped to the Navamsa chart. So that's why it is very important to study Navamsa chart with respect to these planets. Okay, now if you see that, you can also see how internally you are feeling based on the Navamsa chart. Okay, now what I mean from internal, what I mean is what you are feeling internally. For example, if you have, let's say, Jupiter in the first house, then externally you would be feeling like you have a lot of sattvic energy. But suppose in the Lagna, in the Navamsa Lagna, you have Rahu and Saturn, then basically internally you have a lot of tamasic components going on. Okay, because the Rahu and Saturn, they give the tamasic attitude to the mind. So internally you have a tamasic attitude, and externally you will kind of do lot of religious activities and kind of show off spirituality. So that's basically the difference. Externally what is happening, and internally what is there. So if you want to see anything internal, just look into the Navamsa chart. Okay, for example, the 4th house is your house. Okay, so if you see 4th house in the Rashi chart, that is your house from the external point of view, and if you see 4th house in the Navamsa, that is your house from the internal point of view. Okay, suppose externally your house looks very modern and very snazzy, but internally it is very dilapidated, like you have kept things here and there and not very kept for. Okay, so or externally your house may look very old and dilapidated, but internally you have all the modern facilities. So that way basically you can interpret the whole lot of things. Now specifically why I am giving this point here is just that now we learn how we can identify all the relatives. Okay, now if you want to see which all relatives have what they have internally and what they are showing off externally, at least with respect to yourself. Okay, then you just have to see the relationship between the Lagna Lord and the corresponding Lord in the Navamsa chart. Okay, for example, if you see that, see, your 4th house is your mother, and 4th Lord is actually the intelligence that is working in your mother with respect to yourself. So now consider your Lagna Lord and 4th Lord and see these 2 planets in the Navamsa chart. Okay, so in the Navamsa chart, if they are having the relation of 6-8 or 2-12, then what is indicating is you have internally there is a lot of conflict going on. Okay, or internally the person is not supporting you. Now in the Rashi chart you will see that these 2 planets are together. Let's say 1st and 4th planets are together, or they are in mutual kendra. Okay, so you will see that externally they will feel very much in agreement, but internally there is a conflict going on. And this kind of relationship you can study with respect to you and your spouse, with respect to you and your brother, your maternal uncle, your friends, your relatives, your father, okay, and also between the other relatives also. Like if you want to see the conflict between your mother and father, then just look for the Lord of 4th and 9th house and how they are positioned in the Navamsa chart. Okay, if they are in 6-8 in Navamsa chart, that means they will always be opposing each other. Not opposing, they will be always trying to negate each other. Okay, somebody says that you have to build a house in Goa, then the other person will immediately negate him. Okay, this is the wrong idea. Or internally there is a certain conflict going on. Okay, something that may not come out very easily, but internally it is there. Okay, you will better understand, because see, this is all these are social interactions that everyone is going through in the life. So once you study these things in Navamsa chart, you will immediately understand. Okay, so this is what is going on. Okay, so so that, and also if there is a relation of, let's say, 212, okay, then what is happening is one person is getting. You can say one person is always giving, another person is always taking. So let's say your fourth lord and your Lagna lord, they have a relationship of 212. So fourth lord is there in the 12th from the Lagna lord in the Navamsa chart. Then what is happening is your mother is continuously giving, okay, and you are continuously taking. So this one-sided relationship is causing the problem. Okay. So and likewise, if it is otherwise, then your mother is continuously taking and you are continuously giving. There is no second. There is no. See, every relationship has this component. It is based on give and take. If there is any relationship that is based on just a single directional force, a single directional flow of resources, then it eventually dies. Okay, and it dies very painful death. So it is important that any relationship should not have this kind of relationship. It should not have 212 and 6-8 kind of thing. I think that's all about it. Okay, thank you very much.